Namo Vaisnava Krishna Prasthava Srimati Tamal Krishna Goswami Namane Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthava Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desatar. Hare Krishna. Thank you for the nice welcome. I also want to thank Premananda Mata and her team for the invitation. Obviously, Maharaj also requested, and many times Maharaj would ask me to come and help. I would say yes, and generally it used to be only one session, about 1 hour, and so when I got the message, I thought it was the same. I said, okay, no problem. Little did I realize that I was going to do 4 sessions. Oh no! And the reason is I was traveling and I just came back and then I got the message and I said okay. And then I was again traveling. I just came back last week from Seattle. So then I got the schedule and the topic. So I didn't spend enough time. I just want to apologize to all of you. No. You're overwhelmed with so many things to do. So I do understand that. But in any case, this is a challenge. So we are trying to be patient and tolerant, and this is part of our forbearance. We're all learning, right? So it is. We're going to touch on Vaisnava Etiquette. So when I was looking through these topics, I was thinking I'd probably be like a life coach or a self-help coach, Tony Robbins, person like that. I'm like, whoa, When we do Vaisnava Etiquette in Houston, where we teach, it's a 15-week course. So it's different from this because we just touch on some of these topics and we do other aspects more in detail. Here we are going into what patience is, what tolerance is, what forbearance is in the practice of Krishna consciousness. Yeah, we are trying to look through that lens of in devotion what patience means. Yeah, so I'll try to give some definition. That's the main idea here. I'll also show you what the definition of etiquette is. I think Maharaj also pointed out this morning. So, and we'll look at the qualities of what Vaishnavas are supposed to cultivate. So then you can recognize and understand why these qualities are also important, and how to practice, how to develop these qualities. We'll touch on what leaders need in terms of patience, tolerance, and forbearance. Now, when I use the word leaders, it doesn't mean just only the temple president. Each and every one of you are also a leader of sorts. Husband and wife, right? Your kids, you're also a leader among them. So, yeah. And then we'll see the benefits, and hopefully we will reduce some misunderstandings. That's the hope. And I have not really divided it into 4 sections because I didn't know. I expect this to be an interactive kind of thing. I'll ask you a question. Hopefully you all can answer. Don't give me a blank stare. And hopefully it works out ultimately. So so Vaishnava Etiquette, we will touch on these 3 things: patience, tolerance, and forbearance. As I mentioned to Mother Premananda, that actually, I couldn't see much difference between the 3 things, but there is subtle differences. But in general, sometimes Prabhupada uses all 3 together, or he'll use it separately. So my main source of information is from Prabhupada's books, and occasionally outside of that was psychology books and so on. So hopefully it serves some purpose, and you can take something from this discussion. Yeah. That's the main idea. The other thing you all need to understand is although you may go through many courses and you learn stuff, new stuff, the knowledge you gain, if you don't put it to practice, you lose it. Right? There's a saying, right? Use it or lose it. Yeah. So, so that's how it is. If you don't practice it, you will forget after a while. And if you practice it, you can give it to others. Understand? If you practice it, you can share, you can show, and you can inspire. Yeah. The whole idea behind Vaisnava Etiquette is you become a Vaishnava. Now all of us are Vaishnava in practice. We can't actually use the word Vaishnava. It's a very high level, term. We are mostly practicing devotees, sadhakas of sorts. I use the word of sorts because you know what I mean. Okay, so it's a common misperception or misconception that some people are patient and others are not. But there's actually really a spectrum, a wide spectrum. You can see that. Some are hesitant to practice patience because they feel they will lose something, right? If I keep quiet, then someone will take that opportunity away from us. This is how we are being trained in society, our upbringing, in schools. Many places you go, they tell you to stand up, and fight, right? Yeah. But it's not completely in that way. It doesn't mean if you're patient, it's not that you're not assertive. Sometimes it's paradoxical, but if you look in Krishna consciousness, being patient sometimes gives you the best result. So that's the paradox in there. But otherwise, we will learn many things from this. Don't worry, I have my cheat sheets also, so I will refer to them, and hopefully you all will gain something. All right, let's look at what Vaisnava etiquette is all about. This is from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Avatara karya prabhura nama prachyare se nija karya prabhu karena tumara dware. The mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for which he has descended as an incarnation, is to spread the importance of chanting the holy name of the Lord. Now, instead of personally doing so, he's spreading it through you. Do you know who he's speaking to? Yes, Haridas Thakur. Yeah, chanting means, the starring personality in our Shastra is Haridas Thakur. Yeah. So, Then he continues, this is in Antya Leela. Pratyaha karatina laksha nama sankitana savara agekara namera mahima katana. My dear sir, you are chanting the holy name 300,000 times daily and informing everyone of the importance of such chanting. So is chanting important? Yes? Yeah, it's very important. Yeah, that's why you have to understand our movement is known as the Hare Krishna movement. So chanting is very important. And I was looking for Haridas Thakur's picture. There's many versions of it. And this one looks more like Raghunath Das Goswami, right? The tiger comes and so on. But everyone has their own way of seeing Haridas Thakur, I guess. So he continues, Apena acharya kehana kare prachara, prachara karene kehana karena achara. Some behave very well, but do not preach the cult of Krishna consciousness, whereas others preach but do not behave properly. So you can see that prachara and achara. Ultimately we are going to come to the term sadachar. Okay. Achara prachara namera karaha dui karya. Tumi sarva guru, tumi jagatera arya. You simultaneously perform both duties in relation to the holy name by your personal behavior and by your preaching. Therefore, you're the spiritual master of the entire world, for you're the most advanced devotee in the world. Although we may not all be gurus or so on, still we are setting examples. So, you may be going to different places, locales, right? Restaurants or whatever. You carry your big bag, you're chanting. So people are watching you. They are looking and thinking, who are you? Huh? And at the same time, those who know, they say these are the Hare Krishnas. And Hare Krishna means Srila Prabhupada. So you are all representing Srila Prabhupada. So therefore your behavior reflects on Srila Prabhupada. Yeah. So it's very important to understand this. Okay. Now this is a murti of Sanatana Goswami. Very beautiful, no? Yat yapyo tumi hau jagat pavana thomas parshe pavitra hai deva muni gana tatapi bhakta swabhava maryada rakshana maryada palana hai sadhura bhushana. Maryada. See, Maharaj was speaking this morning. Maharaj is here already. Oh no. My dear Sanatana, although you are the deliverer of the entire universe, and although even the demigods and great saints are purified by touching you, it is the characteristic of a devotee to observe and protect the Vaisnava etiquette. Maharaj pointed this out this morning. So, maintenance of the Vaisnava etiquette is the ornament of a devotee. So now you understand why you have to maintain a certain standard in the way you live your devotional life. This is the verse we saw this morning. Then he continues, Maryada lagani loka kare upahasa iha loka paraloka duhai nasha. If one transgresses the laws of etiquette, people make fun of him. And thus he is vanquished in both this world and the next. Vaishnava etiquette actually pleases Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, as I mentioned earlier, the way you behave outside of the temple, sometimes you carry the jabba bag, it says ISKCON, and people know who you are, how you perform out there. So it's important to behave in a way that Srila Prabhupada is respected. People will say, look at these people, they're so wonderful. Look at how they are, how respectful they are. So, therefore it's very important. Continuing. Maryada rakila tusakale mora mana tumi aichena karile karakon jana. By observing the etiquette, you have satisfied my mind. Who else but you could show this example? So it's so nice, right? So what it means is, if we all follow nicely that Prabhupada has taught us, then we please who? Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gets very pleased. Yeah. Simple behavior, simple attitude, right? We need to just tweak a little bit. So our whole sadhana process allows us to change, as Maharaj was mentioning this morning, our nature. The more we practice nicely, the more we are able to focus and shift away from the lower modes. Okay? The Hari Bhakti Vilas describes Vaishnava etiquette as the behavior of a pure devotee. Now we are all practicing devotees, practicing in pure devotional service. Since nothing can be successful without sad achar or etiquette, every action should be performed with proper etiquette. We must act according to proper etiquette. The heart of a saintly person is free from contamination. The way a saintly person acts is known as sadachar. Yeah, this is a very good definition of what Vaishnava etiquette is. Now there are qualities of a Vaishnava. Let's look at some of these qualities before we go into how to be patient or tolerant. Vaishnavera gunagrahi nadikaya dosha kaya mano vakya kare Vaishnava santosha. So this is about Pandit Haridas. It's a different personality. So translation, he always accepted the good qualities of Vaishnavas and never found fault in them. He engaged his heart and soul only to satisfy the Vaishnavas. So gunagrahi here means no matter what qualities you exhibit, they always look for your best quality. Okay, that is the qualification of a Vaishnava. So we are all practicing to be a good Vaishnava. So we should always see what is nice in a person and try to elevate them by making them feel good about their good qualities. Adosha darshi, again here means he never sees others' faults. Gunagrahi, adosha darshi. Now remember, we all have good qualities, we also have bad qualities, yeah, but we have to understand we have both. And therefore, when you know you have both of these qualities and you are self-reflecting, you can also be very humble. Yeah? But if you only see your good qualities and see others' bad qualities, then it doesn't work nicely. Okay? Yeah. Therefore, it is said, Sajjana gunam icchanti dosham icchanti pamaraha. Everyone has a combination of faults and glories. Yeah? But continuing with Pandit Haridas, he is a person who's a very sober person. He accepts only the glories of the person. That's all, only the good qualities. He's not interested in any bad qualities. Because he is just like the honeybees that seek the honey, and he's not like the flies which seek the souls. Okay? So Pandit Haridas never found fault. Tough, no? Yeah? Very tough, right? Because we live in a society where we are taught to find faults. Mostly, yeah. But then it's so difficult. You're working out there, you're accessing all those knowledge that the society is giving us, and then you're trying to become a good Vaishnava here. And sometimes too much conflict, and you're not sure what to do. But all we have to do is just follow Srila Prabhupada's teachings, and then you find that as you incorporate values from the teachings slowly, you find that you can balance both material life and spiritual life. Okay, now we look at the different qualities of a Vaishnava. Sarva Maha Gunagana Vaishnava Sharire Krishna Bhakti Krishnera Guna Sakali Sanchare. A Vaishnava is one who has developed all good transcendental qualities. All the good qualities of Krishna gradually develop in Krishna's devotee. So again, through the practice, the process of sadhana process, you will develop all these qualities. And this is a famous verse, Yashyasti Bhakti Bhagavati Akinchana Sarve gunestatra samasate suraha harav abhaktasya kuto mahadguna manoratena sati davato bahi. In one who has unflinching devotional faith in Krishna, all the good qualities of Krishna and the demigods are consistently manifest. However, he who has no devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no good qualifications because he is engaged by mental concoction in material existence, which is the external feature of the Supreme Lord. And not only these qualities, there are 26 qualities of Vaishnava also. Kripalu akrita droha satyasara sama nidosha vadanya mridu suchi akinchana sarvopakaraka shanta krishnaika sharana. The most important is krishnaika sharana. Akama aniha stira vijita sadguna mita buk apramatta manada amani gambira karuna maitra kavi daksha mauni. So these are 26 qualities that a Vaishnava has. We are talking about a Vaikuntha community. We are going to develop that, right? So here, this is the qualities we expect from a resident of Vaikuntha. But at the same time, we have to understand these are all Paramahamsa qualities. And they have this Vijita Sadguna. That means he must conquer the 6 material qualities. Do you know which are the 6 material qualities? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha and Matsarya. Yeah. I mean, anger, lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and enviousness. In some places you'll find hunger and thirst. Just going through some qualities first before we go into the definitions. Another wonderful description is in this particular verse from the 3rd canto. Titikshava karunikaha surida sarvadehina ajata satrava shanta sadhava sadhubhushanaha. Devotees are always tolerant. So here the word titikshava, Srila Prabhupada translates it as, in the word for word he says forbearing. But in the translation he says always tolerant, forbearing. He uses both of them. And very merciful. They are the well-wishers of every living entity. They follow the scriptural injunctions. And because they have no enemies, they are very peaceful. These are the decorations of a devotee. Sadhubhushana. Remember the first verse there where it says the ornament of a devotee? So these are some of the ornaments. That he has to be also tolerant and forbearing as well as patient. So these 3 terms sometimes are interchanged, sometimes they are very particular, sometimes all 3 are used in the same sentence. Yeah. Now, these qualities are also found in who else? Shri Krishna himself. This is in the Madhya Leela. Beauty, humility, mercy, merit, patience and expert intelligence are all manifested in Krishna. But besides this, Krishna has other qualities like good behavior. There you go. Mildness and magnanimity. He also performs welfare activities for the whole world. All these qualities are not visible in expansions like Narayana. Interesting, no? Yeah. And in the purport, Prabhupada writes, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions that the qualities of beauty, humility, mercy, merit, patience and expert intelligence are brilliant qualities. So it behooves us to practice all these nice qualities. We are part and parcels of Krishna. So we too can be bestowed with such wonderful ornament. With these qualities, Krishna can bestow those qualities as we practice nicely. And Prabhupada writes there, good behavior, mildness and magnanimity are found only in Krishna. And so when he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is Mahavadanyaya. Only Krishna performs welfare activities for the whole world. But as Vaishnavas, we are followers of Krishna, the Acharyas who follow Krishna's teachings. Therefore, we also do welfare activities for the whole world by giving them the holy name. Yeah? All right, now we look at the definition of patience. These are from dictionaries and other places. The ability to wait or to continue doing something despite difficulties, or to suffer without complaining or becoming annoyed. Yeah. Yeah, you can see this is like for a spiritualist. Right? We are practicing spiritual life, so we have to be able to do that. And then there are other definitions. The capacity of bearing pains or trials calmly or without complaint, not hasty or impetuous. Steadfast despite opposition, difficulty or adversity. And finally, trusting in Krishna's timing and plan. Now, patience is a virtue that requires enduring steadfastly, fixed, while waiting for the Lord's timing, or when the Lord, like Krishna, realizes you're ready for it. And then he gives his blessings like that. It involves maintaining a lot of composure, and not only that, you have to have trust. The Lord will help us. Now there's a tall order, because we are not at that level sometimes. We can't do certain things. Or sometimes you as a leader, you're trying to organize things and nobody wants to help. And then you are overwhelmed, right? Who do you turn to? Right? Just come running to Radha Shamachundra and Gauranitai and say, help! I need help, yeah? Or you can just ask your good friends, talk to devotees who are your well-wishers, who are always looking out for you. And you'll see, Krishna may talk through them. And then you'll say, yes, I think I'll wait a little bit and see if they'll come tomorrow. Yeah. So when we cultivate patience, in our lives, we actually acknowledge the Lord's timing. It's up to Him. That's basically what patience is, right? We acknowledge His timing. What does it mean? It means His timing is perfect, not the way we see things. And then He unfolds this plan according to His wisdom, right? Sometimes we think, I know what is right. Why isn't it happening the way I want? But the Lord unfolds one thing after another, and then we realize, no, this is a much better way. I'm glad it happened this way. I'm glad I didn't jump, you know. So that's an important point to understand. It requires us to trust in His providence, in His judgment. And when circumstances seem so challenging, or our own desires go unfulfilled, we have to think very carefully. Yeah? So that's why it's very important to trust in Krishna's timing and plan. This is a sidebar. Okay, we just want to show you in Jewish tradition, they use this word, let me see. The Hebrew word for patience is savlanut. The root literally means to bear or to suffer. The virtue of patience is to bear or suffer something unpleasant or painful without increasing the suffering. They seek to treat all people as though they are created in the divine image. Now this was very interesting to me, as it connotes that patience is very difficult, and also not a pleasant experience. Patience is not a pleasant experience. It is hard and challenging to be patient, and especially so when there's so much pressure. External pressure, pressure with devotees and so on, and a lot of anxiety to do something. But I know we can do better, and I can do better. That's how we think sometimes. So how is it that they are created in the divine image? They try to act lovingly towards one another. Yeah. Even if it hurts. And you can say it hurts so good, because you are helping them, and then eventually it will help you. They assume they are doing the best they can. If they are misbehaving, we assume that they themselves are in pain. That's how we see things. And we try to forgive them. Patience has a different connotation in American usage. This is from the psychology book. It is something you lose, something you possess in limited quantity. And also, if you are patient, you do not get annoyed during a delay, right? Flight delay, a bit is okay. Do not get angry when someone lets you down. Do not explode when someone attacks you. Rather, you say and do nothing. You hold it in until you can't suppress your feelings any longer. That's how they react, I guess. Now, I also looked up tolerance, so there are different definitions also. Tolerance is to bear something unpleasant or annoying, very similar, or to keep going despite difficulties. Now, athletes, I put a picture there, athlete, they have to tolerate a lot of pain, right? With devotees, they don't have the best service, but I tolerate it because I love they don't have the best service attitude when they are cooking, but I tolerate because they have the best prasadam. They make the best prasadam. That's the way you see toleration, right? Some devotees do that, yeah. To accept the behavior and beliefs that are different from your own, although you may not agree with or approve of them. So these are some definition of tolerance. Now, looking at definition of forbearance, the quality of being patient and being able to forgive someone or control yourself in a difficult situation. Patience, self-control. Restraint under provocation, not enforcing something due. Like you want to beat up somebody really bad, right? You hold back. Refraining from the enforcement of something. Now this is more in the banking sector, I think, such as debt, right, obligation, that is due. Sometimes leniency and sometimes patience, as in tolerance or long suffering. Long suffering means for many, many years. The person is giving you hell. Yeah. Yeah. A person who tolerates all kinds of troubles, even though such troubles appear to be unbearable, is called forbearing. When Krishna was residing at the place of his spiritual master, he did not mind taking all troubles in rendering service to his guru, although his body was very soft and delicate. It is the duty of the disciple to execute all services unto the spiritual master, despite all kinds of difficulties. This is qualities of Krishna in the nectar of devotion. So he was very forbearing. Like most of us, we can walk through the jungle or walk barefoot and not get injured. But Krishna's feet are so soft. So therefore, he tolerated because he wanted to please his spiritual master. So sometimes the spiritual master may give you an order, or he may ask you to do something, you may not like it. Yeah, but it's good for you, so that you do it. Tolerate it. Forbearance also referred to as forgiveness. It indicates that amid the alarming turbulence of this world, devotees are tolerant, humble, respectful, and prideless. This is a quote from the book Suddha Bhakti Chintamani by His Holiness Shivaram Swami. Right? So many difficulties you may have in your life, but you are tolerant. This is a very famous verse also. Utsaha nischaya dairya tat tat karma pravartanat sangatyaga sato vritti sadbir bhakti prasidyati. Prabhupada translates the word dairya here as being patient, whereas other acharyas, they translate it as forbearance. So there are 6 principles. So all these things, Prabhupada says, must be executed with patience. All these activities, Shravanam, Kirtanam, chanting and so on, you can't expect to get a result immediately. You need to work on it. Right? Sometimes when you do certain activity, or when you do a homework, or when you do cooking, you may have missed something. And then the teacher will say, hey, you forgot this, right? Go correct it. Or when you cook, you forgot the salt. So you have to go back or put the salt and stuff like that, right? So in the same way, you need to practice this. Prabhupada says one should not be impatient in Krishna consciousness. Yeah. And he writes in the purport of this, he says, this movement, this Krishna conscious movement was started single-handedly, and in the beginning there was no response. Nobody was there. But because we continued to execute our devotional activities with patience, people gradually began to understand the importance of this movement, and now they are eagerly participating. One should not be impatient in discharging devotional service, but should take instructions from the spiritual master and execute them with patience, depending on the mercy of the Guru and Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ends like that. Okay. Now, Sridhar Swami says the exact meaning of the word. There's a word sattvena. He says sattvena is synonymous with patience or dhairyena. One must perform devotional service with great patience. You're not going to get a result immediately. In the beginning, it's easy when you come with the devotees. Prabhupada gives the example of an aircraft on the runway. When you take off, you see everything moving fast. And then when you go up above the clouds, everything don't seem to be moving. Yeah. So when you take up the process, these activities, you give up so many things, right? And then you also do so many devotional activities. So you find, wow, I'm making a lot of advancement. But after a few years, you're doing the same thing, you're thinking, I'm not making any advancement. I'm not getting the result. Huh? But you are still doing it for so many years, right? And after 10 years, you still say, I'm not making advancement. But actually you are making advancement, albeit very slowly. We may not make as tangible an advancement that we want, because the service we may do may not have the degree of surrender that will lead you to a advanced position, right? Like, for example, not everyone goes out on book distribution, yeah. Not everyone goes out to preach, yeah. Not everyone comes to the temple to do service, yeah. And mostly, if you ask devotees, not all, but some devotees, you ask them, they say, oh, you need to help us do some service. They say, I'm chanting. Chanting is also service. Yes, it is, yeah. So there are different levels and grades, but after 20 years, you're still only chanting and not doing other things. Then it's very rarely you see such devotees making amazing progress. Unless in your previous life you've done all the service, and this life you are just finishing the last few, and then you're just floating in the air. No, that's different. Yeah. So yeah, they all say the same thing, all the different acharyas. The devotional service must be performed patiently. Yeah? You can't rush it. This society we are in nowadays is about rush, you know. You want to cook a dinner, you put it in the microwave, 2 minutes, bang, it's there, right? And then you go to ATM, ping, 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 money comes out of the machine. It's fantastic. Right? You can do so many things, right? You make a phone call, you get a reservation, so many things. Life is like amazing, except when it comes to Krishna consciousness, there's no ATM machine for increasing a devotion or, right? You can't get it like that. So it's on a different level. It's actually the Lord's... To make advancement is actually the mercy of the Lord. So it's causeless. So you cannot say, I've chanted 16 rounds, so where's my dues? It doesn't work like that. You need to continue to the extent that you will develop spontaneous love for Him. In terms of developing at the higher level of Krishna consciousness, you must be attracted to something about Krishna. If you are not attracted as of now, that means you haven't really made much advancement. You may have, as you know, your qualities may have been increasing, good qualities, because you can focus nicely. But Krishnaika Sharanam is not there yet, complete surrender to Krishna. Right? Accepting everything favorable for Krishna and rejecting unfavorable for Krishna. Now, how many of us have accepted that statement in truth? Right? Someone will call you on the phone, Prabhu, Mata, let's go for this movie. Then you check up the accepting or rejecting. So you say, it's okay. And then you come to your spiritual master and say, I'm not making advancement. Right? And he will say, be patient. Yeah. Because you have to realize these statements, anukulyasya, right, and prativulyasya, all those things. You need to understand what it means, for what purpose. Yeah. So in all cases, one has to, one should not give up our devotional service because we did 1 or 2 attempts and then I didn't get anything. So I'll go and do some nonsense. That's not the whole purpose. One must continue. And to continue, Srila Prabhupada in this particular verse, he says, we continue devotional service with? Yes, but the first thing is? Enthusiasm. Yeah. You can't be patient if you don't have enthusiasm. Yeah. Not possible. Yeah. So if you don't have enthusiasm, what should you do? Yeah. What? Associate with what? No, associate with devotees who have enthusiasm. Yeah, if you just associate one who's just sleeping, right? Who is not interested in doing devotional service, then you will end up doing the same thing, you know. One time Prabhupada was asked, Prabhupada, how do we become a pure devotee? Then Prabhupada laughed and said, how do you become a drunkard? Yeah. So it's association based on that, yeah. So patience is necessary for developing this confidence on that Krishna will eventually come and bless me. It's not going to be easy. Krishna is the creator or the original personality of Godhead, and we are here stuck in this one universe, the unlimited universe, So it's not like because I started Krishna, I must immediately come and deliver me. No, you have to be deserving of it. Yeah. And how do you know you're deserving? You don't. If you think you are deserving, then you're not ready yet. Yeah. So therefore, you have to be patient. When one comes to a higher level of consciousness, he actually feels humble because he realizes he is a nonsense. That's why you find these acharyas, they cry and say, I'm fallen, I'm this and I'm that. Because they realize, their insignificance compared to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this purport, Srila Prabhupada also gives this very nice example. So he says the successful execution of Krishna conscious activities requires both patience and confidence. A newly married girl naturally expects offspring from a husband, maybe not nowadays, but she cannot expect to have them immediately after marriage. Now you could still do that if you're in the upper planetary system. Yeah, the demigods, they can do that, but most of you are not. Of course, as soon as she is married, she can attempt to get a child, but she must surrender to her husband, confident that her child will develop and be born in due time. Similarly, in devotional service, surrender means that one has to become confident. The devotee thinks, Avashya Rakshibe Krishna. Krishna will surely protect me and give me help for the successful execution of devotional service. This is called confidence. So, do we have that confidence? Yikes. Right? You feel that way. Yikes. Do I have that confidence? Oftentimes we get up in the morning, we think, yes, I'll do a good job. By the end of the day, you forgot. what you wanted to do, what you want to accomplish. So many things come in that may take your time away. Or even sometimes, Prabhupada gives another example also. Yeah, this is the other example. The mother is cooking very nicely in the kitchen. So then, this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is by Mahaprabhu. He talks to the Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and Anupama, the three brothers. They are stuck with the Kazi, and they can't come out. So they are living in a... and Mahaprabhu was still living as a family man in Navadvip, so they want to converse with the Supreme Lord, so they were writing letters to him, exchanging, and they considered themselves very degraded, very untouchable, and they wanted to give up and come and be with the Lord. And in one letter, the Lord encouraged them to be patient. He said, just be patient. And then he wrote this. He says, Paravyasanini nari vyagra vigriha karmashu tadvasvadayati antar navasanga rasayanam. If a woman is attached to a man other than a husband, she will appear very busy in the household affairs, though within her heart always relishing the company of her paramour. So he's telling them, keep your desire for Krishna consciousness internalized when you're working with the Kazi and so on. And in your mind, you can think of your paramour. Right? Yes. So, another verse that describes both patience, tolerance, and forbearance is this very famous verse. You all know this, right? Yeah, you can chant together. Tattena kampa samikshamano bunjanae padmakritam vipakam ritvagma purvi vidadanamaste jiveta yo mukti pada sadayabhak. My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offering you respectful obeisances within his heart, words and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. So this verse is both patience, tolerance, forbearance. So whenever a devotee has fallen into difficulties or in distress, he thinks it is the Lord's mercy. He thinks like that. Now we don't, right? We don't, right? So what does it mean? What does it mean? Huh? Microphone. Lack of faith, okay. One of them is lack of faith. What else? Not taking proper shelter of Krishna. What else? Anyone wants to add anything else? Subha? Yes?
Like that means I don't see things happening in my life and connection to Krishna.
I don't see things happening in my life in connection with Krishna. Okay? That's nice. You're all right. Yeah, you're all right. Yeah. But we don't think, right? We don't think that way also. Immediately we blame somebody else. Right? Immediately you say, she is the cause of my suffering. Or he is the cause of my suffering. Right? She's put me on the roster. I have to do service tomorrow. Right? That's how they blame in the temple, blame the temple president for everything. Yeah. But we don't think, oh wow, the Lord is so kind, He has put me on the roster. Do we? We don't. We don't. It's like we want Krishna, but we want Krishna at a distance, Yeah. We want Him to be, you're good there, I'm good here. I'm okay, you're okay. Right? So that means we don't really understand. That's like Shantaras. Shantaras is you come, sit down, sing for the Lord and go. No service. No active service, yeah. Yeah. We want to get into this Krishna consciousness. Now, I mentioned earlier a little bit. To get into this, seriously, if you want to get into the pastimes of Krishna, you need to do your sadhana so well and read the glories of the Lord. Because if you do it nicely, a pastime in Krishna's pastime will appeal to your heart. It'll rock you. And you want to know more about that. Because you read a personality in the Krishna's pastime, that person is Ragatmika Bhakta. So then you get attracted to that Ragatmika Bhakta. And so you meditate on that person. And that's spontaneously it comes out. And it only will come out when you're in the stage of anartha nivritti. You must at least cross that anarthas. If you can't come to that stage, you'll still be, in the tarangini waves, up and down. So therefore, if you're not having that kind of taste, that means you're not glorifying the Lord sufficiently, you're not practicing properly. Search for what is holding you back. The onus is on you, on us, to look for what's holding us back. Yeah? Otherwise, you can't even pray to the Lord, You can practice though. If you are going through difficulty, you can stand in front of the deity and say, "My Lord, I can't take it, but I know I deserve it." You can practice that. You can practice. You come there, you pray, I know I can't take it. I don't know why, but I probably deserve it. I don't like it. Then what you should say? You say, "Please give me the strength to go through this." Right? That's how you should pray. A devotee does not consider what exactly happens to him actually, or her, whether it is happiness or distress or justice or injustice. That's a devotee. But when each of us, when we consider that and we think, oh, this is not fair, that is not, then we have issues with our practice. We are not thinking like a devotee. We are not cultivating the qualities of a devotee. A devotee does not blame others. That's the bottom line, yeah. Tough, no? Very tough. We have to be realistic also. We are not at that stage, so what to do? Have someone who's your well-wisher, true well-wisher, Not a friend who goes window shopping with you. You want a devotee who will assist you, confident, who will help you understand the nuances of practicing Krishna consciousness. You have to have that, otherwise how are you going to be patient? How are you going to be tolerant? You will take shelter of your Adi Guru here. Your mind. Right? And the mind will say, "Oh my dear, let's see who." I don't want to say a name, then one of you get hurt. And then I'll have a lifelong enemy. Let's say Akrura. Is there Akrura here? No. Okay. So Akrura Das will say, oh no, what's happening? The mind will say, my dear Akrura, why are you becoming so detached, We were the best of friends. We used to go out and enjoy together. Now look at this silly thing you have joined. That's how the mind will act on us. Right? Yeah. So this quote encapsulates the essence of patience and emphasizes the importance of enduring hardship and setbacks. This is very difficult stage to come to, but you can, provided you are taking shelter properly of the holy name, of your spiritual master, of the scriptures, of Sangha. If Sangha is only for chit-chat, then you will suffer. Right? Because chit-chat will lead you to Gramya Katha. And Gramya Katha means you will spontaneously commit offenses. And so you have to be very, very careful. I have something about offenses I want to read to you all. Let's see. This is in Navadvip. So Mahaprabhu is visiting Kulia Grama. And thousands of people came to see the Lord. And guess what? All of them were delivered. Just like that, they all going back to Godhead. This is from Chaitanya Bhagavat Antya Leela. So one Brahmana approached Mahaprabhu and he fell and tightly embraced Mahaprabhu's feet, saying, this is what he told Mahaprabhu. Unaware of the glory of devotional service, I committed many sins. I blasphemed many Vaishnavas. I would say, how in Kali Yuga is it possible for anyone to be a true Vaishnava? How can anyone truly sing Kirtan? Moment after moment, I blasphemed many Vaishnavas in this way. Moment after moment, remembering these sins, my heart burns with grief. O Lion who delivers all the worlds, please tell me how I can break my sins into pieces. Right? So what was the problem with this Brahmana? You guys are not listening. Yes, he committed many offenses. What was the offense? He blasphemed. Yeah, you hear good. You got good hearing, yeah. Okay, so hearing the Brahmana's sincere words. So here the word is sincere. So this person is repenting. Okay, so you can't pretend with the Lord. He's approached Mahaprabhu. So Lord Chaitanya smiled and spoke this remedy. O Brahmana, please listen. If with his own mouth a person drinks poison and then with the same mouth drinks nectar of immortality, then the poison will wither and the nectar will make that person's body immortal. So what does it mean? So he says, Mahaprabhu says, please hear this explanation. Not knowing what was happening, you blasphemed Vaishnavas. In this way you drank poison. Now with your mouth you should always drink the nectar of Lord Krishna's holy names and qualities. The same mouth that once blasphemed Vaishnavas should now sing their praises. O Brahmana, in poetry and song you should sing the devotees' glories. What I say is the truth. If a person who unwittingly commits blasphemy stops blaspheming others and instead praises Lord Vishnu and the Vaishnavas, then that person will destroy all his sins. That is the right way to destroy them. O Brahmana, go and sing the glories of the devotees. Then you will become free of all sins. Anyone who honors Lord Chaitanya's order as the essence of the Veda will become happy. He will cross the ocean of repeated birth and death. So this is someone who is committed an offense. How did they commit the offense? Yeah, how did they do it? Unknowingly, that's the thing, yeah. What happens if you do it knowingly? Ooh. Ouch. That's another one. Do you want to hear? Yeah? Okay. So this is another place, and then there's a leper. He comes to see the Lord. O merciful Lord, the leper said, you descended to deliver the world and are unable to tolerate the sufferings of others. I have therefore come before you. I am tormented by leprosy. My body burns with pain. Please tell me how I may be cured. Listen to Mahaprabhu's reaction. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu angrily replied, die, sinner. When people see you, sin takes birth with them. Even saintly persons must suffer the moment they set eyes on you. You have blasphemed the Vaishnava. How much more suffering awaits you? Even the word Vaishnava purifies the world. Brahma and the demigods sing the Vaishnava's glories. One who worships Vaishnavas attains Lord Krishna. Nothing is greater than worshipping Vaishnavas. Anyone who blasphemes a Vaishnava will suffer in life after death. Those who blaspheme Vaishnavas are sinners. Such persons' education, noble family, austerities and other virtues are fruitless. Lord Krishna will not accept the worship of such persons. Who did he blaspheme? We will find out. Now Mahaprabhu says, Srivas Pandit is a great Vaishnava, but you blasphemed his character. These flames of leprosy are only the beginning of your punishment. Yamaraj will punish you far more in the future. You are not worthy for me to look upon. It will not be I who delivers you. How would you feel? How would you feel? If you go to Mahaprabhu and he tells you this, huh? Unbearable. Unbearable, right? It's too much. Now the leper, he doesn't know what to do. He knows what to do. Upon hearing the Lord's words, the leper placed a blade of grass between his teeth and said pitifully, I do not know anything. I went mad and blasphemed the Vaishnava. So it is right that I am punished. So he's accepting that. Still, you are the supreme controller. Please think of my welfare also. It is the nature of a saint to rescue those who suffer. A saintly person will be merciful even to a blasphemer. Therefore, I surrender at your feet. If you reject me, who will deliver me? You know everything about atonement. Please tell me how I can atone for my sin. Lord Chaitanya, after hearing this, replied, Shastra reveals that those who blaspheme Vaishnavas will contract leprosy, yet that is only their present punishment. How many torments will follow at Yamaraja's hands? Those who blaspheme Vaishnavas again and again will suffer 14,000 tortures in Yamaraja's kingdom. Leper, he's telling the leper, run to Srivas Pandit and fall at his feet to beg forgiveness. You blasphemed him, so only his mercy can deliver you. Go, and he will forgive and deliver you. So we should be very careful. We should be very careful. Oh, look at that. Ganga Jal. So once you take that path where you are offensive and so on, you cannot practice any devotional activities properly. Not possible. So be very tolerant. When people judge you or say something, just be tolerant. One of the qualities of a Brahmana is to be tolerant. Yeah. And if you have been Brahmin initiated, so much more tolerant you should be. Yeah. It doesn't mean you are Brahmin immediately. It means you are, yes, you are in practice. You're practicing to become a Brahmana, right? And you also, once you're Brahmana, then you should do all the services, everything nicely. And then you become a qualified Vaisnava. So again, here we see in this particular quote, it's not easy to become patient. It's not at all easy. It requires all of us to withstand difficult circumstances, very difficult circumstances. Patience by its very nature is bitter. Yeah, but the fruits is sweet. The fruit of patience is very sweet. Yeah. So despite the initial struggle, here Brahma is encouraging us, reminding us of the fruits of patience are exceptionally worth waiting for. Now here is an extract from the diary of Harisori Prabhu. Can you read it? Maybe someone can read. Yeah, Nandu, you can read? Into the mic.
Following Srila Prabhupada's recent instruction that I learned to type from 7 until 8 each evening, I've been going into his bedroom, where I have the secretary's portable typewriter set up on a small desk. Arithmetic has given me the basic.
You don't have another microphone?
Showing which fingers operate which keys.
Yeah, we did it in the microphone so the people who are following in the internet.
Yeah.
Reread it.
Yep. Wait. We're waiting. Yes.
Following Srila Prabhupada's recent instruction that I learned to type from 7 until 8 each evening, I have been going into his bedroom, where I have the secretary's portable typewriter set up on a small desk. Arundhati has given me a basic chart showing which fingers operate which keys. And Bhagaji has also recommended that I practice typing the famous sentence, "The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog." To type actual words seems an impossible task. It is an exercise in tolerance, if nothing else. But I'm sticking with it largely because of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is taking a personal interest in my learning. He's keen that I become competent to do all his secretarial duties. And he has called me in several times to ask whether or not I'm learning. Again, he called me in during my practice session this evening and asked me how I was progressing. I told him that I'm practicing, but that it is slow going and sometimes very frustrating trying to make my fingers work the keys properly. He smiled and said, "2 things are required. Everything comes with patience and practice. So I'm sticking to it and will hopefully gradually improve."
What is the lesson there? Huh? Patience and practice. Everything you do, practice makes perfect. But you need to be patient to get the result. It's a simple formula, but sometimes we are not able to see the result. So sadhana, if you practice it sincerely, the results will come in due course of time, right? Just because everyone does sadhana, we don't pay attention to the practice of sadhana itself. We just think it's, well, I'm doing, he's doing, we're all doing it, right? But actually you're supposed to do it with the greatest attention, sincere attention. Yeah, okay. So make sure you're okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah. So Mahaprabhu told Raghunath Das Goswami also. He wanted to immediately give up his family, right, and then go to Jagannath Puri or something. So Mahaprabhu told him, "Don't be a crazy fella. Be patient and return home. Stay at home. And that's why he told him, internally you practice and externally you behave like a normal boy." Yeah. So you cannot immediately reach the coast, Prabhupada says. But if you endeavor, you can cross the ocean of material suffering by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah. And this is from a very famous Greek writer and philosopher. Who wants to read? Maybe the person behind you, Prabhu? Yeah, give him. Yes, you.
I have bad eyesight.
Oh, you have bad eyesight.
If I can see it.
You can stand here.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. This is, I'll put it up. It's by a Greek writer and philosopher, Nikos Kazantzakis.
I remembered one morning when I discovered a cocoon in the bark of the tree, just as the butterfly was making a hole in the case and preparing to come out. I waited a while, but it was too long appearing, and I was impatient. I bent over it and breathed on it to warm it. I warmed it as quickly as I could, and the miracle began to happen before my eyes, faster than life. The case opened, and the butterfly started slowly crawling out, and I shall never forget my horror when I saw how its wings were folded back and crumpled. The wretched butterfly tried with its whole trembling body to unfold them. Bending over it, I tried to help it with my breath. In vain. It needed to be hatched out patiently, and the unfolding of the wings should be a gradual process in the sun. Now it was too late. My breath had forced the butterfly to appear, all crumpled before its time. It struggled desperately, and a few seconds later, died in the palm of my hand.
Continue.
That little body, I do believe, is the greatest weight I have on my conscience, for I realize today that it is a mortal sin to violate the great laws of nature. We should not hurry, we should not be impatient, but we should confidently obey the rhythm of people and things.
What's your realization? Any reflection on that? Put up your hand, yeah. Yeah, now, yeah, give the Mataji there. Let her. No, you give her, let her, she. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. I think my realization from this is like not to violate the laws of nature. So everything has the right time, place, and circumstance. Let it occur without being impatient.
Yeah, and how does it affect your Krishna conscious?
So even we should have the enthusiasm and have that patience if we're not feeling, that we're not there yet. We're not there yet, but continue practicing. And after the continuation, you offer to Krishna, this is the best I can give, so please accept. And then only by His mercy, with our patience and efforts,
All right, nice.
we'll be able to.
Give him, yeah. What are the consequences of not following?
You die in the palm of the hand.
That's for the butterfly. We're talking about your Krishna consciousness.
The consequences is that oftentimes if we rush into things that you might fall down because of the expectation that you want to be at the certain level that you may not be.
Very nice, thank you. That's a nice realization, yeah. Appreciate that.
Can I know something else?
You want to? Okay, go ahead, yeah.
There was a local saying in my language that it's a local saying in my language, South Indian, that you cannot squeeze a green mango to make it ripe. So I have to wait for it. But I was thinking to what extent that is true of when it comes to the practice of Krishna consciousness.
Jai Shri Radha Shyama Sundar ki jai.
When it comes to encouraging ourselves or maybe people who are guiding others, encouraging to progress, right? How does that compare in the sense, forcing things to make it happen?
Ooh, forcing people to do it. That's what you're saying, yeah. Well, it all depends, actually. It depends on the situation, time, place, circumstances. In a family, if it's a little kid is going to do something wrong, you can force them because you're trying to protect them and so on. But if it's adults, then it has to come from a different level altogether. You can't, especially in a temple environment. Every single individual here is a volunteer, right? So there's no. In reality, you can't really force. But if you force, like using threats and so on, then it's tantamount to actually committing offenses. So you should be very careful. I mean, this is for all of us. You should be very careful. The way we actually encourage another person to actually come forward to do service is through affection, love, and the fact that they can hear my heart, that I have so much for you to make advancement. That's how I'm approaching you. I'm not approaching you for the service. I'm approaching you because I know you will make a wonderful devotee, and Krishna loves you also. Yeah.
I was thinking something in terms of someone who may be guiding somebody, there are so many guides in the community.
Yeah.
The style of guiding is so different. Someone may be very persistent behind someone.
Yeah, I think mentors and so on, they should have you should have a course, the training course, where they should know how the words they use, the choices they make. Everyone should be in the same book. Otherwise, as you say, some are too forceful and so on, and the repercussions may not be healthy for the community. Yeah.
So do we have such programs in all the communities? Because
When I was survivor,
what is that?
from politics.
So do we have such standards in all the communities? Because, it's not...
Yeah, I do not that I know of, but I think there's a lot of, in society itself, in different cities, they have different ways, self-help groups and so on. You can look up the community news and so on, who's offering what courses about interpersonal relationship. Yeah.
This is something, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but I mean, I have seen it happening again and again that some people have that style of, and they wouldn't want to hear also. Like, it's not going to happen, you know. It may not be, I'm not talking about the person who is receiving, the one who is guiding, you know, may not be, particularly because they have some experience and they have some status and may not be willing to hear.
Yeah, that is a difficult thing. We all have to go through. I think ISKCON is a very unique organization. Without saying too much, we are always facing challenges like that. But as a community here, you all can come together and come up with a blueprint for some causes for leaders who want to be mentors, and those who are going to be mentees also will know the expectations. If you have that, then when they look up, oh, these are what I gained from this cause, and they will come and you will see it may not be an immediate change, but it'll be a gradual, a positive change in the long run. Yeah.
I was asking because we have streamlined our Bhakti education programs, and we are starting something new called Bhakti Pod, which has got varieties of training programs. So this is like training the trainer.
Yes.
Thing.
Yes.
And is there someone like that qualified we can invite here, to your knowledge that?
I think you can talk to, maybe you can write to Brahmatirtha Prabhu.
Okay.
Yeah, in Alachua or Braja Bihari Prabhu. They deal with ISKCON Resolve and all those things, so they can give you pointers in that direction. That's a sidebar.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so continuing with the next slide. Yeah, sometimes struggles are what we need actually. It helps us. Why? Because you can reflect on our suffering. Yes? Yeah, we should reflect on suffering. Why are we going through this? And then we can understand better why we are going through certain levels of suffering. The more we think about it, then the more we know. Sometimes you know you made some activities and it's giving you some issues now. So then at least you will become a better individual in terms of how to face that suffering. You can accept, yes, it's my own fault. And so it makes it easier. So reflecting on one's suffering, and then you can cultivate patience and tolerance also. In general, the sufferings we all go through is not caused by the Supreme Lord. It's all caused by, we create our own problems mostly, yeah, our own sufferings. If nature allowed us to go through life without any obstacles, it would cripple us. Right? Then you won't be a better person. You'll be a mean, horrible person, actually. And we would not be as strong as we could have been, and we could never fly like the butterfly. Agree? Yeah. And have a great day, great life. Struggle a little. Then you fly. Yeah. Now the way the world is created, it's for us to suffer. And the reason why we suffer, the Lord gives us this suffering so that we can, or rather He set it up so to protect us from the futile and fatal illusion that we, spiritual beings, can be happy in this material world. Okay, that's a fatal illusion. It's not our real setting. And then the second reason he gives is it provokes us to redirect our desires to the spiritual level. Okay, the suffering that you go through will then slowly you force yourself and you find there's solace in spiritual activities, but which you can't find in the material things. Yeah, so that's the other reason why the Lord allows us to go through this suffering. And then we can reclaim the eternal happiness that which is our rightful claim, from the previous verse. Of course, as you are practicing, you may feel sometimes you are very far away from the spiritual goal. It's natural. Sometimes you go through that feelings, but that's again where you have to understand that you need to be patient again, yeah. So how are you going to make sure that you'll always remind yourself that you have to be patient? How would you do that? We'll come to that, practices. But I'm just asking, what are some ways? Yes, Prabhu, give him the microphone.
One way that I find helpful is to reset the day when we chant our japa in the morning. And chanting in itself is a practice of patience, isn't it? Like we're chanting to receive Krishna's mercy and Krishna's presence in our life through the holy name. So it is that 2-hour-a-day reminder that I'm not in control, and that Krishna is in control, and everything works on his time. So for me, it's that special time of japa that reinforces this patience.
Okay, nice. Yes, Prabhu, thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. I think one thing that I often think about on the part of patience is experience, in one sense, brings us naturally to that position, especially as you pointed out very nicely through the slides, that just by having the commitment to go through all the different obstacles and just keep going, keep practicing, the experience in itself creates this natural sense of patience.
Patience, yeah, it's purifying.
Without going through, or without keeping the commitment to the practice, then it becomes very difficult.
Yes, very nice. Thank you. Very nice, yeah. So it is said that the spiritual path is full of inspiration, insight, and amazing fulfillment. But this is only available to those who are willing to also embrace the not so glamorous need, for patience. Okay, now let's look at this one. This is a verse from the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Saesham balyata stattat vishadi apat ganeranat dairyam dharmam yasho jnanam bhaktim premapi adarshayat. By sending poison and many other calamities one after another to trouble the Pandavas from their childhood, the Lord deliberately showed their determination, religion, fame, wisdom, devotion, and ecstatic love. Now, in the word-for-word translation, the word dhairyam is translated as the patient determination. So determination is also, you can be only determined if you're also patient. Yeah. I thought that was very nice. And this is spoken by Hanuman, and he's saying the invisible super soul, the Paramatma in the hearts, arranged for the Pandavas to undergo many troubles. He did this only to show us to broadcast the glories of the devotees. Yeah? So sometimes when you're going through a difficulty, maybe the Lord is trying to broadcast your glories. Yeah. And you are saying, don't broadcast. Right? When you go through difficulties and you don't want difficulties, then you are not getting close to Krishna. That's the other way you can look at it. Yeah. Impatient. Is it a modern problem? Yeah, everyone says, yeah. Can you relate to this? Irritation? Yeah. What else? What else? What are the symptoms? Anxiety, irritation, yeah. What about? Annoyance, yes. Anger, frustration, anger, yeah. These are some of the symptoms. We can relate, right? All of us? Yeah. So you have to go through this almost every day, some of us. But if you're not in control of your senses, yes.
Prabhupada also describes Arjuna's experience in the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita.
Let's speak on that. There are people online, they may want to know what you're saying here.
In the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada uses the word impatience for Arjuna twice. And Arjuna was in a confused state of mind, wanting to leave the battlefield.
Impatient, yeah.
So Prabhupada says that's impatience.
Interesting, very nice. Irritation is the feeling of, oh yes, Prabhu wants to say, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. I just wanted to add one more symptom here. I experienced that, and that is trying several other different things.
Trying several other different things. Yes. Jumping from one thing to another. Yes, that's true. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. So irritation is the feeling of being angry, actually. That's why you're feeling irritated or annoyed also. Or something that makes you feel like this. Annoyance is a state of being annoyed. And then frustration is actually also being annoyed, disappointed. Because you expect something, you're not getting it. Discouraging. Right? All these are frustration. Desiring something but not getting it. So jumping from one to another, hoping to get it. So the problem it creates is because we are impatient, it brings the worst in us, right? When you are impatient, you are in the mode of mostly passion and ignorance. Therefore, you will react to things without thinking through, right? Examination. You are impatient, you want to, and then you just write whatever answer you want. So due to impatience, we develop anger actually. Rudeness, right? Maybe your son or daughter comes and tells you something and you are impatient in doing something, say, get out from here. Similarly, if you are not careful, if you don't hold back and ask yourself, how should I, by simply saying get out, the other party may take it in the wrong way. Like your question this morning. Right? The person may, what? My dad hates me, my mom hates me, the world hates me. Right? They'll go through those kind of... Sometimes people think like that, yeah. They're very sensitive. Actually, devotees are very sensitive. Devotees are more sensitive than the ordinary people. That's my experience, Yeah, you say something, they'll take it to the extreme, Right? And it's over analysis happening, you know. Actually, that's what you meant, because I'm a qualified psychologist and I know what you're meaning when you said that. Every devotee is a qualified psychologist or psychiatrist, you know. And you have a lot of these issues. And then eventually there's no respect because of that. And then you break your relationship. Or the second point is, let's get this over with quickly. How many times you've gone through this? So often we go through this. What is that? It means the work you do is half attempt. Or like the Yanks say, half-assed work. Yeah, like that, yeah. Tangles up with irritation and disappointment, you know. And or the next one is rarely get the results we want. Sometimes you also have the mood, I know best. We're all working and then, no, I know what to do, I know what to do, okay? And then ends up in disappointment, right? And then all the others want to gang up and beat the other guys up, right? Like if you have a bubble above the head of everyone, you can see the true feelings. Right? You see everyone beating everyone up. Bad relationship again, yeah. But if we take the trouble to understand each other, then Prabhupada and Krishna will be very pleased, right? It's such a simple thing sometimes, but we are very impatient and create a lot of problem. And when we rush through things, the result we want, right, won't come out the way we want it. Let's say you are asked to cook, bake a cake, right? And then you don't want to do it, but then your leader told you, you must do it. Then you go in the kitchen angry, I'm going to do it, bam, 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 bam. And then the cake won't even rise. Right? And then it's about, oh, it's time for serving out, you know, cakes. But no cake. Because you were too impatient, you were frustrated. These are simple examples, but you can see if you extrapolate into your Krishna conscious activities, you can ruin relationships. Right? Tolerate certain things. I give this example all the time, the pakora example. The last pakora example. It's called the last pakora. So then everyone gets pakora and then the devotee comes with I have one more pakora, who wants? The two people put up their hand. And then the guy, he says, okay, you take, and then he goes away. So the person who didn't get will look at the server and say, this guy, he didn't give me the pakora. So for the next 20 years, he's holding grudge for one pakora, which you can make in less than 5 minutes. Right? This is reality. I've seen it happen. But if you had said, oh, I didn't get it, you know, that's okay, maybe next time, you know. But if every time the same person refuses to give you a pakora, then okay, fine. Get him, then maybe that's something there. But then you go for a mediation or something like that. Over pakora. So, yeah, so you rarely get the results you want if you are rushing through things. And I discuss this, I know the best attitude. So, when you have that kind of attitude, it's very difficult. And finally, it stifles creative growth. Someone can come up with a better idea, more creative, right? Thinking out of the box. So when you don't allow people to give their inputs, then you are actually compartmentalizing people, and they cannot come up with their creativeness, that may make things easier or better suited for a certain situation. So no thinking of the box. If you allow such thing, Krishna gives you the intelligence to come up with an amazing idea. But if you don't, then you find everyone is long face, dragging the face around the place, Yeah. And then resistance to trust, finally. Trust issues come in, finally, right? You don't trust anyone. Oh, they just want me to do this. They don't really care for me. I don't feel it in my heart. Yeah. So impatience creates all these issues for us. You can see it externally through anger, frustration, irritation, annoyance, and so on. Think about it, because it will help you to be more careful in how you react. Now, if someone asks you a question, how fast will you answer? Depends on the situation. Yeah. But in general, you should, what should you say? Let me think about it and I'll get back to you. Is it urgent? Because mostly we think we know all the answers. Right? Immediately we want to be the Vyasadeva of the, that situation, Give the purport. Right? We want to do that. But if you take it easy, move back, maybe you can see a better picture of the whole thing. Sometimes someone will tell you, this is what I'm facing, but you're only seeing that scenario only. But then, but if you include a few more, then you get a better picture of the whole thing. And then you can say, I will get involved, I'm not going to get involved. But you say it in a nice way, At this moment, I don't have sufficient information or time, we'll take it later. Or please go and see your temple president. Don't worry about it. Or the senior devotee, Subal Prabhu, for wise advisors here. Okay, this is an interesting picture, but this is about being impatient and the consequences of being impatient. Who wants to read? You want to read? Oh, he wants to read, okay. Kapil.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, read.
Impatience. Vinata could not wait for another moment.
Louder.
Vinata could not wait for another moment, and in her desperation to have children and feeling ashamed, broke one of the eggs. There she saw her son. Learned authorities say that the top half was well formed, but the bottom was not yet well formed. Furious, his natural growth was stalled by his mother. Aruna cursed her to become Kadru's slave for 500 years.
Yeah, Vinata and Kadru are sisters. They are the wives of Kashyapa Muni. Yeah, so Kadru and Vinata pleased the husband, Kashyapa, and he gave them a boon. Kadru said she wanted 1,000 strong sons, snakes, nagas. And then Vinata said, I want 2 powerful sons who can control the snakes. Actually, that's what she asked, so anyway, they waited, after they gave birth to eggs, I guess, they waited for 500 years for it to hatch. So Kadru's 1,000 sons came out, 1,000 nagas came out, powerful, and Vinata was waiting for the 2 eggs, and they never hatched. So she became impatient, angry, right? Competition, with her sister. So therefore she became not only impatient, she was also, towards her sister, she was envious. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, became envious. And so she took a stone and broke the egg. And when she broke it open, 2 eyes were looking at her, angry eyes. Right? And that was Aruna. And he got so angry. He said, for your impatience, woman, for your impatience, I curse you. For the very woman, for your very sister that you want to go against, I'll curse you, that you become her slave. So of course, then she realized her mistake, and it was up to her second son, who is Garuda, to save her. So just see, because she was impatient, how many years she had to suffer. Another 500 years plus. They had to do so much slavery under her cruel sister, Kadru. Okay. Now with all this, sometimes no matter what you do, you only have just patience. That's all you have. You cannot control anything at all. Remember the dawn of creation, what Brahma had to do? He had to just sit and meditate, right? If you look at the different yugas, when they go on meditation, how many years do they do it for? 10,000 years, 60,000 years, meditation, day of Brahma. And all we have to do is meditate for 2-3 hours a day. Shame on you, shame on us, shame on all of us. You need patience. How many of you have made or experienced cooking? Right, so you have to be patient, no? Right? When you make burfi, how many of you made burfi before? 1 person only. Those who haven't done, you better go and try and do it. Then you'll know what patience is. Or sewing clothings, right? Takes a lot of effort, time, Or the best, teaching someone new. How frustrating can it get? How difficult they can be. But you continue doing it because out of love, out of affection, out of care. So you spend so much of your blood and sweat to make someone into a devotee. That's patience. And you see the result, right, of your patience. And the result is you feel happy. And you never think, I wasted so much time. Okay, so we will stop here, right? All right, I'll stop here. Any comments, questions, and then we can adjourn for lunch. Prasad. Shubhala Prabhu.
Thank you, Radha Krishna Prabhu. Wonderful to hear you and to meet you. I have a couple of questions, and in regard couple of the slides that you were showing. But one of them is actually throughout the whole presentation, the importance individually for each one of us to cultivate these principles of forbearance, patience, and
tolerance.
But we're an outreach mission. We are a preaching mission, and we to go out there. And what Srila Ramapa Swami was saying to Premananda, we're in Kali Yuga, and in Kali Yuga, the whole thing is, right now the atmosphere is that everything is short term. You're expecting results in a very quick manner. So there's not much patience for a process to get to something in a very careful, mode of goodness manner, but passionate, quick result you mentioned. You put microwave, everything is there, the ATM. So we have to deal with that. We have to deal with an atmosphere that patience is not something that is favored. In fact, it's seen as something that is...
Which I mentioned in the beginning.
Yes. And also, there was a slide that you showed that Lord Chaitanya, I think, was telling Haridas Thakur that if you transgress etiquette, people will make fun of you. And they will, disregard you like that. But now we see that even in our society of devotees, when you transgress etiquette, it's celebrated. We see in Facebook, there's groups that celebrate, this type of transgressions of etiquette, and it seems as something almost like progressive and activist type of thing. So how do you deal with things like that as a preacher, that you're trying to create some impact or something impactful in the preaching to actually be able to outreach to the world and even to cultivate our communities with this type of message? I think Premananda was making actually reference to that you really want to make sure that this culture of respect
is there. Yeah, I think it starts at home. It starts at the home first, we have to practice, we have to be strict with ourselves first, each individual. But when new people who come, we need to be very gentle with them and not force all these things. We take time with them. So we are practicing patience with them to come to the standard. Now, as to the media, we can't have control over the media that people want to do. There's always going to be all kinds of negativity out there, trashing whatever we do. Generally in the media, those people who glorify all those kind of negativity is because they are looking for negativity. But if we, all of us, practice very nicely, there's less opportunity for them to find those negative things to put on the media. And so it is I would say it's very important for all of us that when we walk into the temple or when we are walking to a shopping center, what is it that people see in us? What do I want them to see? What would Prabhupada want us to be representing? So if we cultivate that level of consciousness, I think the Lord will be pleased with us, and as we progress in that, our consciousness will pervade those who come close to us. And so these negative attitudes will not be more prevalent, and the Lord will also be protecting us more. So that's how I see it. Yeah, and so I think we approach the Krishna consciousness in a happy way to help people, because we have found something that is wonderful, and all we want to do is share with others, and so they also can share in that happiness that we have. And in wanting to do that, we follow this Vaisnava Sadachar. Yeah, is that okay?
I want to also add another question. That's okay.
Okay.
It's quick. You show one very intriguing slide that is a quote from Shivaran Swami, His Holiness Shivaran Swami, that almost equate forgiveness with the qualities of humility, tolerance, patience, and selfishness, I think was.
Yeah, yeah. We will.
So, how do you explain this equation? If you can give us a little.
Yeah, we will come to that in any case, because someone can make a mistake because they don't know much sometimes. So instead of getting angry with them and chastising them, we can forgive them and give them the opportunity. Krishna is, the way I see it, Krishna is unlimitedly compassionate. So if I am the via media to help others for Krishna, then I should also show more compassion to a person who's not able to follow certain things. Instead of getting angry and chastising and wanting to correct them immediately, maybe by forgiving them and saying it's okay, you didn't do so bad, they may change that their hearts may change because of the way we behave. Yeah. So we'll touch on that later as we progress in the next few days. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Premananda must wait actually, because you ask. Let others ask. Yeah, you can talk to me later. Yeah. No, because she has a list of amazing things she wants to address.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhu, most often I find myself losing patience when there is a deadline. We are rushing to do things.
Where?
At home, at work, right? When we are marching towards achieving something by a certain time, and we are running out of time, we kind of feel the pressure and, can't tolerate others' shortcomings or whatnot. How to manage that piece?
Do you go out on Harinam?
Very little, Prabhupada.
Yeah. So go out on Harinam. Do you participate in kirtans?
Yes.
You do? Yeah. Do you sing?
No.
Then you should sing. Sing to the Lord. You need to open up your heart, and understand clearly why you are doing all these activities. And when you truly feel it in your heart, then you will see everything stop moving around your life at a speed of the mind, right? So then you know why you're doing this. So when you know why you're doing this, you pause, look around, Another thing you can do is, before you act on something, you ask yourself, what would your guru do in this situation? What Prabhupada would want you to do? What Krishna would like you to do? Right? If you think through, you won't rush so much. Yeah. But if you let those emotions overwhelm you, then you're a victim of your own senses. Rishikena, Sevanam Bhakti Uttam, right? He is the controller of your senses, and therefore you have to approach him and pray to him and say, I need to, slow down. My life is just flying. Help me. Yeah. And then again, the same formula is your well-wishers. Open your heart. Do you have a confidant you can talk to? And then make adjustment in your lifestyle also. Do you go out for a walk?
Little.
Little. That means nothing. That means you're not walking. So go out, take a walk, japa, go out with your wife, spend time with her, walk, appreciate the sun, appreciate the environment that Krishna has given you, yeah, and chant peacefully. That's what I can say for now.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, last question.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the nice presentation. I have a question related to when you are annoyed or impatient, then like sometimes you want to run away from that situation, or keeping a distance or being patient. So how you can distinguish between the three, running away or versus keeping a distance or being patient?
It's a tall order, that one. How to keep yourself from running away. Yeah, that means you have to know what your duties are. Are you very clear about what you need to do? You may know your duties, but if you are not in control of your mind, you lose control. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna, right? Arjuna tells to Krishna, if your mind is not controlled, it's going to run away. Which comes down to how do you chant your rounds? Do you have a system of chanting? What time you chant? Do you chant alone? Do you chant in front of deities? Do you chant in front of Tulsi Maharani? Those things will help you focus better, and then you will understand the situation better also. Why do you run? You run because you don't want to take responsibility. And so once you know your problem, then you are able to address your problem. But when you don't know what the situation is, you just want to run because you don't want to take responsibility. Yeah? Annoyance it could be anything. Anything can annoy you. A mosquito can come, buzz around you, and you're annoyed, right? You can't say, I'll be peaceful and patient and let the mosquito bite you, right? So it depends on the situation. Why are you annoyed? You can always ask yourself, all right, let's say after the fact you ran away or walked away. Do you journal? Do you have a journal? No. So maybe you can write down saying why I got annoyed for today, or why I ran away for today. And then you can look at it later when you're feeling a little less anxious, and then you can ask yourself, what triggered these things? So these are all on the psychology side of the jiva, which means how he's associating himself with the modes of material nature. Karanam guna sangasya sadasad yoni janmasu. So according to the gunas we associate, we have a certain type of body we take birth with, and that may cause some problem. So how to overcome those things? Sadhu Sangha is important. How much do you value the Sadhu Sangha? And in having Sadhu Sangha, do you look to improve, or do you look to just be with them? So all these things, there are many factors. I'm just giving you some of them. Yeah. So you have to know yourself, and finally you have to, self-care. Take care of yourself, your needs, and so on. Yeah. Okay. Is that all right?
Yeah. I was more looking into also on the keeping distance also.
Yeah, that depends on the situation. If there's a good person, or if the person is always, let's say that person you're associating is always denigrating others or speaking bad, then yeah, you keep a distance. You keep a Haribol association. You say Haribol and you move away. Yeah. That's keeping distance. But you are not antagonistic towards them. Okay? You are their well-wisher. The way you become their well-wisher is you pray for them. I do not know how many of you pray for your enemies. Yeah, go back and think why you don't. The reason I'm saying is because Krishna loves each and every jiva. And if you have anger towards anyone, indirectly you're also angry with Krishna. So you need to get rid of that from your heart. So pray for those people that you want to have a pretty distant relationship. And you never know, your prayers can change their hearts. Prayers are powerful. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. We'll see you at 3 o'clock? Okay. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada